All right, let's get right into it. What we're seeing right now is a conflict in the Middle East that is spiraling out of control, and fast. New fronts are opening up almost daily, from Kuwait to the Gulf, pulling in more and more powers, and really pushing the entire region to a tipping point. So let's break down how we got here.
What started out as a conflict between just a few key adversaries is now dragging in more and more nations. The situation is getting more complex, it seems, by the hour, with new fronts opening up all the time.
So the first real sign of this dramatic escalation came from the skies over Kuwait, and this one directly involved the United States military, signaling a really dangerous new phase in this conflict.
The initial reports were a little confusing, but they were quickly clarified by Kuwait's Ministry of Defense. And it turns out this wasn't just a single incident. They confirmed that a number of U.S. military aircraft had gone down, meaning, more than one.
And thankfully, the immediate follow-up from Kuwaiti authorities confirmed the most important detail of all. Every single pilot and crew member was recovered and is safe. Now, where this happened is a huge deal. At least one of the jets went down less than 10 miles from the Ali Al Salman Air Base, which is a significant U.S. installation. This puts the incident right on the doorstep of American military power in the region.
Okay, so from Kuwait, let's shift our focus to what is really the central theater of this whole thing, the direct exchanges between Iran, Israel, and the United States. And this is a fight being waged not just with missiles, but with messaging too.
This has absolutely become a rhetorical battle. The U.S. administration branded its joint campaign Operation Epic Fury, a name that suggests, decisive, overwhelming action. Iran's public stance, on the other hand, has been much more simple and direct, a vow of revenge.
Iran is also framing this conflict for a very specific audience. Listen to this from a senior official, Ali Larijani. He said, Trump has betrayed America first to adopt Israel first. This messaging from Tehran is a clear attempt to drive a wedge, to suggest that U.S. policy is being dictated by Israeli interests, an idea aimed squarely at the American public.
The pace of all this has been just incredible. On Saturday, the joint operation began. By Sunday, the U.S. president was already giving a potential month-long timeline. And then, by Monday, Iran had responded with a direct and deadly missile strike deep inside Israel.
That missile strike on the city of Bishemesh, which is located right between Jerusalem and Tel Aviv, resulted in at least 9 deaths. This brought the war home to Israeli civilians in a very, very real way. So, just as Israel was dealing with this threat from Iran, a whole new front just exploded to its north. The powerful Iran-backed Lebanese group Hezbollah officially joined the fight, and that widened the war dramatically. And the escalation here followed a really clear tit-for-tat pattern. First, Hezbollah kicked things off with an attack on an Israeli base. Israel's response was swift and described as a series of punishing strikes. This was then followed by a stark warning to civilians, with Israel ordering the evacuation of over 50 villages in southern Lebanon, basically bracing for a much larger campaign. And this new front had an immediate and tragic human cost. According to Lebanese officials, the Israeli retaliatory strikes killed at least 31 people and injured over 140. With casualties really concentrated in the capital, Beirut, and all across southern Lebanon. But the conflict didn't stop there. It expanded yet again, this time turning towards the wealthy Gulf states, with Iran aiming its fire not just at military targets, but at the economic heart of its neighbors. The sheer scale of the aerial assault on the UAE is, it's staggering. According to their Ministry of Defense, the country has been targeted by over 700 projectiles just since Saturday. We're talking a mix of hundreds of drones, ballistic missiles, and even cruise missiles.
And the UAE is not alone. The offensive has also hit Saudi Arabia, with reports of a fire at the massive Ras Tanura oil terminal, a critical piece of global energy infrastructure. This shows a very clear strategy of trying to inflict economic pain.
Now, the Gulf nations have invested billions in advanced air defense systems, and for now, they are mostly holding. But here's the thing analysts are pointing out. Defending against a barrage of this magnitude carries an immense and ongoing cost, threatening to strain their economies and rattle global energy markets. This raises a critical question. How long can that defense possibly be sustained?
Okay, so let's pull back and just look at the whole picture. When you connect the dots between Kuwait, Israel, Lebanon, and the Gulf, what you see is a conflict that has rapidly metastasized into a full-blown regional crisis.
The conflict has pulled a growing list of players into its vortex. Beyond the primary state actors like the US, Israel, and Iran, nations like Kuwait, Lebanon, Saudi Arabia, and the UAE are now directly involved. Even the E3, France, Germany, and the UK, have declared a defensive role. And critically, powerful non-state actors like Hezbollah are playing a major part.
This assessment here from Yasmin Farouk of the International Crisis Group just perfectly captures the dynamic we're witnessing. It's an escalating war, and the list of participants is just growing longer by the day.
And that leaves us with the final critical question. We've seen this fire spread from one front to another, crossing multiple borders and involving new armies and militias. The entire region is now on edge, and the defining challenge is whether this widening war can be contained